What's up everyone, it's Austin Rutherford here. Today we're talking about private money lenders, how to find them and how to get their money invested into your real estate deals. Because the thing is, if you get into a deal with a bad private money lender on bad terms, your dream of a deal can become the nightmare of your deal very, very quickly. You gotta know the ins and outs of private money, the do's and the do nots. That's exactly what I'm gonna be covering here in this video. But before we get started, make sure you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It would be greatly appreciated. And I also have an entire video breaking down literally step by step the documents, the process, everything you need to raise private money on top of this. So make sure you watch this video here after you finish watching this one. Once you watch both of these, you should be set. So let's get into it. So the top 5 things that most people don't tell you about private money from personal experience. Number 1, do not get scammed. There's a lot of scammers out there, and I'm talking about people that actually steal money and disappear. Number 2 is some people structure the money on draws. Number 3 is that there's no monthly interest payments. Number 4, equity versus interest. And number 5, where to find the private money lenders. So let's talk about the first one, do not get scammed. So let's talk about this. Sometimes people on social media will reach out to you and they'll be like, hey Austin, I'm a private money lender and I have great terms. Are you interested in borrowing money? And if you're new to the game and you don't have access to private money, that would be very intriguing. So you'd respond and be like, yeah, absolutely. What are your terms? And they'd send you a term sheet. They would have this beautiful website. Like, these are real scammers. They're really good at what they do. And then they would say like, oh yeah, if you're interested, absolutely, I'm interested. Perfect. What you need to do first is you need to send over a $2,000 deposit so we can lock you in and get you pre-approved. And then whenever you have a property, just reach out to us. Then you send the $2,000 and then you never hear from them again. You never pay money up front for a private money lender. Ever. Do not pay money up front for a private money lender, because if you do, there's a very high likelihood that they're just going to run away with the money at the end of the day. So don't get scammed. Don't give people money up front with private money lenders. So number 2, structure it on draws. So when you're going in to rehab a property and you're borrowing money and the lender says, well, Austin, I know you need 100 for the purchase and I know you need 50 for the rehab, but I'm not comfortable giving you the $50,000 up front day one because the work hasn't been done yet. Because theoretically, you could walk away and leave the country with their $50,000. Now, we don't do that around here, obviously, but you could, right? So a lender could be nervous. So what you can do in this case is you can actually put the rehab money in escrow with the title company and then get paid out draws on those funds as the project progresses. So they give you 100 grand to buy it, they put 50K in escrow. You get some work done and you say, hey lender, I need 5 grand to pay the contractors. He approves the 5K, pays you, and then you pay the contractors. And then you do another 10 grand worth of work. You say, hey lender, I need 10 grand. Gives you 10 grand, pay the contractors, so on and so forth. So that's one way to get past that hurdle to getting a lender comfortable to lending you money. So the next one is monthly interest payments. I almost never, I think one time in my career, I've paid monthly interest payments. So what this means is when they lend you, let's call it $100,000 at 12% interest, you have to pay them $1,000 a month in interest, right? So what happens is that can tightrope your business. You actually have to have money out of pocket to be able to pay those things. So the way that I structure it is I pay all of my principal and all of my interest when the note is due. So when I sell the property or when I refinance the property or when I pay them off, I'm paying them all their principal and interest. So for that same example, you borrow 100 grand, you pay them off 6 months later. I'm gonna pay them $106,000, which means I have no money out of pocket month to month, only when I sell the property. So the next thing you're gonna run into when you're talking to private money lenders, some lenders will want equity and some lenders will want interest. So what's the difference, right? Equity is they own a portion of the deal. So they profit based on the profitability of you, right? Interest is they just get paid the interest rate no matter what happens. So I'm gonna give you 2 examples here. Let's say that you're paying them equity, right? They're gonna lend you the money and you're gonna go into this deal 50-50 partners. So you buy it for 50, you put 50 into it, you sell it for $250,000, you net profit $80,000, which means that the lender gets 40 grand and you get 40 grand. It's a good day, right? $40,000 is not anything to laugh at. But what can happen is for that same deal, $150,000 at 10% interest for the year, using it for 6 months is $7,500 in interest payments. So if you were just paying 10% interest, you'd be paying the lender $7,500 instead of $40,000. So you would make $32,500 more if you just paid interest. Now on the flip side to that, if you're paying interest, I've had a deal before where everything went bad. It took like 2 years to happen. It was horrible. And I paid my lender $35,000 in interest, right? Because I agreed to pay him 12% interest. So I paid him 35 grand on top of their original investment. and I lost $30,000 on that deal. So not only did I pay them interest, I lost money on the deal. So when you're paying interest, you pay the interest no matter what. It is what it is, you pay it. Now, if that deal was an equity split, we would have split the loss proportionally. So I only would have lost 15 grand and he would have lost 15 grand. So there's an upside to it and there's a downside to it as well. So just make sure where you're at, you're comfortable with it. What I would recommend if you're new to the game is, and somebody wants equity, give them equity. Get the deal done, build credibility, and then use that deal, use that case study to go out and raise money at 8, 10, 12% interest. Side note here, I forgot to say this. Not a financial advisor, not giving you financial advice. This is just my personal experience. Make sure you do your own research as well. And the last thing is, where do I find private money lenders? Everybody asks me this. And again, you have to talk to people. You have to network with people. You have to put yourself in a situation where you're surrounded by people with money. So what does that look like? You go to real estate meetups, you go to country clubs, you go to car shows, you go to steakhouses, you go to golf outings, you go to all these places where people with money normally hang out and start networking, create conversation, talk to them about what they do, tell them what you do. Say I'm a real estate developer and I actually teach other people how to invest their money into real estate. That'll spark an interest and then they'll be interested in talking further to learn how they can learn how to put their money into real estate. So you have to educate people on the process, and then that is how you're actually going to get money for your deals, to fund your real estate deals, to grow your business. But at the end of the day, you do not want to lose the house. Again, if you have to pay equity, get the deal done. 50% of $100,000 is 50 grand. 0% of $100,000 is $0. So do what you got to do. Do not lose the deal, but use that, if you give equity, use that as a case study to then go raise money, just that interest, so you don't have to give up so much of the deal. So if this sounded way too complicated for you, I know we covered a lot here in the last 10-ish minutes. If it's something that you are interested in, but again, it sounds too complicated, I have a course. It's an entire course that teaches you exactly how to raise money, where to raise money, gives you all the documents, the spreadsheets, the credibility packets, gives you everything you need to know to be able to raise money from a private money lender. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you click the link in the description below and it'll take you there and you can learn all you want to know about it. And also, you can comment below and let me know what questions you have. What didn't make sense? Drop a comment, smash that like button, hit the subscribe and notification bell so you can get all this content going forward. As always, appreciate you being here. We'll see you on the next one.